My name's George Williams. I deployed to Iraq 3 times. My first tour was in Mosul, Iraq. I was at the Stryker Brigade. I am a Purple Heart recipient. I am also a recovering addict of almost 6 years. This 15 more days, I'll have 6 years. Well, what I wanted to talk about, I'm not in this book. Jeb forgot about me, but I'm kidding. But I don't think my story is finished yet as far as what I wanted to share with Jeb. I've been out of the loop for probably about 6 months. I had to refocus on myself. My recovery was tested throughout this year, so some of the old habits, the old things that I'd gone through with having PTSD I was being triggered. So I had to kind of be selfish and do self-care because I was starting to fall back into the old alter ego that I used to identify as when I was when my PTSD was unmanageable. I used to identify as Will. I started to become that person again, and when I realized that, I had to drop out of school. I have not completed yet. I dropped out of school. Well, not dropped out. I kind of messed up to a point to where I kind of have to reinstate my whatever to get back in, which Jeb reached out to me yesterday, I believe, and asked me if I'd come speak here. I spoke at the one last year, and I got a little bit emotional at that one. I think this year with the trials and errors that I'd gone through, I think that it had made me stronger. I believe that every obstacle is put in my way to kind of help me to grow stronger. But coming to the combat part of things, I deployed to Iraq. Mosul. I've only deployed to Iraq 3 times. I've deployed to Mosul, Iraq, Baghdad, Iraq, and Taji, Iraq. My first tour in Iraq, I was there from October 2004 to 2005. I was there when December 21st, 2004, when we had a mess hall bombing, which killed 22 people. A couple months after that, I myself had been injured from a suicide car bomber. That's when I had talked to Jeb about this numerous times. That's when the creation of Will had begun. When I had to identify as somebody besides George, I didn't like who I was. I became a whole different person to the point of I lived off hate and lived off making people feel the way I felt. Because I didn't like PTSD is a lonely world. Combat PTSD on top of that is a lonely world. Some people look at us like we're crazy. Some of them, think we're just being weak, whatever. And this whole 22 a day with our veterans taking their lives and stuff, like. Before I'd gotten clean and sober, I'd almost been one of those 22 a day. But I realized I was tired of being sick and tired of having self-pity for having PTSD, which a lot of us veterans don't like to be labeled with that. For the simple fact is it makes it feel like I always felt like it just made me look like I was weak. But when I finally went into drug and alcohol treatment in the Army a year before I got out, I embraced that label, and I realized that for me not to come face to face with it, that I was going to be dead. I was a heroin addict. I did pills. I was an alcoholic. I was self-destructive, and for some of the veterans that might be sitting out there, or a family member of a veteran that is an addiction, there's a thing there's a program, I think it still exists, I'm not sure, but it's called Freedom Care, and I've been trying to promote that for people to just be straight up, honest with whoever is struggling with addiction, and just come forward or approach them and just let them know you're not going to give up on them. As a matter of fact, right now I'm still working with it with other people, and trying to help an addict is not it's not an easy road, and it takes a lot out of you. But
Feeling great, brother.
yeah. Thank you. So last year when I was speaking, just kind of stumbling on my words right now. Last year when I was speaking, I lived a survivor's guilt for quite some time. When I was in Iraq, my first tour, we got hit by a suicide car bomber, and one of the men that was in the vehicle with me ended up getting hit with a piece of shrapnel to his right, around his right eyebrow. It punctured his brain, and they had to take a piece of his brain out. He had massive brain damage. He's still in the hospital to this day. That event happened April 5th, 2005. I lived with that guilt I still live with it kind of to this day, but I just realized that if I don't do what I'm doing right now, coming up and speaking to you people, that there's going to be unanswered questions that go through your minds of what we go through. And I'm not trying to make this all sound morbid and whatever, but this is just my experience. And to be honest with you, I feel like I got put on the spot because I was expecting to be like the sixth speaker. But other than that, all I really gotta say is I'm just happy to be here. Happy to spend, about an hour or so with you guys close to my clean and sober date. And happy to share what little story I have. I mean, I present all the time in drug and alcohol treatment centers on a story of my own called I Am Will. But, one day maybe you guys will see it. But it's just something that I put together to show addicts that world can change you. It makes you somebody you're not. And today I'm not Will, today I'm George. Thank you.